last round of NZ World Series Sprint Cars left the defending champ fuming. In front of an unhappy Avalon crowd, it was Jason Johnson who scored the first win of the season for the Americans. And as the series headed out of town for the 5th night of racing in a week, McFadden clearly had a bitter taste in his mouth.
He was using more of the infield than the Raiders do. It was a bit of a joke. That's not how we race.
And was ready for the next event and a chance to get even. Warrnambool, about 250 k's southwest of Melbourne. The home of Premier Speedway. Fast, banked, tight. The perfect location for a posse of agitated racers who are tired and cranky after a solid week of racing. There's tension in this ocean air. This mysterious coastal town has a history of shipwrecks. But with tempers boiling tonight, we could see wrecks of a different kind. And when you wreck here, you know about it. This place is one of Australia's favourite speedways. With its huge crowds and great racing, it's become something of a spiritual home for sprint car racing. And it plays host to the final round of Speed Week, where the last of the $100,000 worth of prize money is waiting to be won. So between the dollar signs and the red mist in the driver's eyes, and the rivalry between Johnson and McFadden, this is going to be a big night of NZ World Series Sprint Cars, presented by Hog's Breath Cafe. Our arrival here at Premier Speedway in Warrnambool is the culmination of one long week. What's more, it's also the final round of Speed Week, the mini-series that kicks off the NZ World Series Sprint Cars calendar. Hi everyone, Chad Nayland reporting from the infield of this terrific little speedway, where 7 years ago, a 16-year-old James McFadden set quick time in qualifying. Tonight, he hopes to go for his 2nd consecutive win here in Warrnambool, and also his 2nd consecutive Speed Week crown. He holds a slender points lead over Luke Dillon and Stephen Lyons, but to be fair, anyone in this top 5 has a chance of winning the series. All the drivers in the top 10 have made the show every night so far, but making the final 20 tonight will be tough since we have over 40 cars entered. McFadden's first hurdle will come by qualifying. Well, he'll be one of the last cars out on the racetrack. Luke Dillon's 2nd in the points. Well, he's towards the beginning of the session. It'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. Well, right now there's some grey skies circling overhead, so I'm going to find somewhere a little bit warmer to camp out. We'll throw to Wade Orger and Jack Perkins.
So we get set on a chilly evening here at Premier Speedway Warrnambool for Revolution Race Gear qualifying. There is Taylor Milling, adorned with the beanie, and Dad Scott just down to the left as we see Jason Johnson about to take his lap in the Dean's Autoglass number 47 HM Racing Maxim. The Ragin' Cajun, traditionally very strong around this place, has in fact won the Speed Week Series before. Jack Perkins looks like he's on the money early.
He is, and this is one of the fastest speedways in Australia. It's great, real American-style racetrack that really suits Jason Johnson. We see James McFadden here. He rolled a 10.5 to be 5th quickest.
Do you know he rolled into Warrnambool as a 16-year-old, his very first ever World Series event there, and set quick time. Even back then, they knew he was going to be special. Daniel Pesca, the rise and rise of Daniel Pesca. 4th quickest with a 10.553 for the Gawler Farm Machinery entry. This was the surprise packet right here, Jack.
There was Taylor Milling, the teammate of James McFadden, a bit less experienced, and he's actually out-qualified him here tonight. What a great job from that team, and very good for a young man's confidence.
There'll be plenty of ripping going on in the truck tonight, I'm sure about that. Darren Molyneux, local hero here, a young gun gasser. Look at that, 2nd quick, superb job from the man they call Molly. He actually got married at this speedway on the track.
One guy that didn't get married here was Luke Dillon. He set the quick time with a 10.4. He won the first 2 rounds of the championship, and he's currently 2nd in the points.
Good job for Luke Dillon. Chad Nayland is going to catch up with him in just a moment. That action line marking. Hog's Breath Racing 81 is right on the money.
Well, he kept a close eye on the last one. He definitely kept a close eye on James McFadden and Stephen Lyons. But Luke Dillon back in form. And hey, man, grab a hold of this because you are quick time. Well done.
Yeah, thanks very much. We got an early number, but turned out that didn't really make much of a difference in the end anyway. So I just put together 2 identical laps basically. They were both quick enough for quick time, so we're pretty happy.
You called it pretty much accurately. Before qualifying, you said, I don't think the draw's going to have much to play in this. You were at the beginning, McFadden was at the end, and you were both pretty much similar times.
Yeah, that's right. You can get excited over a good draw, but until it's over, you don't really know if it's going to be good or not. So we just tuned our car for the track and drove it as neat as I could.
Second in the points, but now you get a few more back on him. What's the plan from here?
Same as any night. We're going to try and win the final. Playing points is really just puts extra pressure on your shoulders. So we're just going to, look at moving forward in our heats, look at doing good in the dash if we make it, and look at winning the final if we can.
Yeah, started off the night very well indeed, hasn't he? Molyneux was second quickest. Taylor Milling, that is a great job from Taylor. Jason Johnson just outside the top 5. Kyle Hurst, Ash Scott, that's a massive effort from Ash as well. And Brad Keller, solid job for the young South Aussie. Likewise, fellow South Aussie young gun Matt Eagle, just inside the top 10. It's going to be a hot old night in chilly conditions. Dad?
Yeah, Wade, Sean Bradford's luck not getting any better here in Warrnambool. Have a look at the amount of work that's going into this car. They've just changed out this little red box which sits on the dash. That's the magneto. It's the heart and soul to supply all the electricity, essentially, to the car. It wasn't starting in time trial, so off the back of the field for both their heats. A lot of work for them to even make the B main. Let's go have a chat to our current series leader. We'll walk past Johnny Vogels, absolute local champion here in Warrnambool. So cool seeing the local races take on the World Series guys, especially guys like James McFadden. James, 5th quickest in time trials, and Luke Dillon gets a few points back on you.
Yeah, it's still early in the night. We don't know what the weather's going to do, so hopefully it holds out and we can get a good race.
Now, this is a track that you've had a lot of success at over the years, right from a very, very young age.
Yeah, we have. We've always gone well here. It's a cool track. It's wide open and high banked, and so I hope it gets a little slicker and we can get some good passes going.
Now, let's talk about that because you are a little bit further back in the heats because you time trialled so well. How do you pass at Warrnambool?
Hold it. You got to be pretty smart here. If you get it wrong, it tends to be pretty big. So it's just keeping wing speed's the key to this place, and let's just hope we can do it tonight and get the 25 car to the front.
All right, well, you get back to it because I know that the heats are coming up, so you get back to that. I know that James McFadden's looking forward to hopefully retaining his Speed Week crown, but we have a massive night lined up at Warrnambool. The heats are coming up after this. It's a well-known fact that races are won or lost in the workshop. Places just like this one have all the tools, spares, and certainly space that any team needs to win down at their local track. But unfortunately, NZ World Series Sprint Cars is one out there on the road, so you've got to get all of this stuff and put it into something a little bit more portable. We call them transporters, the Americans call them trailers, sometimes haulers. Either way, in today's modern world of motorsport, they're as important as they are pimpin'. You see, in the good old days, trailers were literally just that, a trailer, and all they would do is transport the car to and from the track. Today, there's so much more. Sure, they still get the car to and from speedways, but they also carry a workshop's worth of tools and more spares than a bowling alley. Take the Monty Motorsport guys, for example. It's staggering how much gear they carry inside their Monster Energy truck. They have 3 top wings, 4 front wings, 6 rear wheels, 2 front ends, 2 rear ends, 12 shock absorbers, 2 drive shafts, throw in some header pipes, and for good measure, 1 complete spare engine, and yep, a spare chassis too. Somehow they cram all of this, plus plenty more, into the transporter. To find out how they do that, it's time for a quick tour with their American star, Shane Stewart.
So this is our Monster Energy Drink purposely built sprint car trailer. This is our home away from home, as you could say. Our team being based out of Perth, they have to put a lot of parts in this trailer to run up and down the road to contend for the World Series sprint car title. As you can see, all these cabinets in here are purposely built for each individual part. We have fuel turns here. We have a lot of miscellaneous parts. We got our engine heater here. In this big cabinet here, we got a lot of spare, we got spare front axles, spare rear end, spare torque tubes, drive shafts, ready-made bird cages with arms and radius rods built on them. Everything is made so if we get into a crash, we can get the car repaired as quick as we can and get back out for our next set of heats. This is my little cabinet, and this is about all I get in this big trailer. This is right in here. And,
That's all they afford you?
That's all I can. That's all I get.
So, Hunt's device, gloves, helmet.
Helmet, correct. In here, we got spare radius rods. We got a lot of factory cane shock parts, which is a very valuable tool in sprint car racing these days. In this drawer, we have spare rear arms, spare Jacobs ladders. As we go down the trailer, we got a spare KRE race engines, which we hope we never have to pull out in the middle of the night. But if we do, we can literally change this motor in about 20 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes.
Shock dyno?
Shock dyno, which is something that has really been a valuable key in the last 5 or 6 years. We're obviously very blessed to have this capability in our trailer built in, and we use it about every day. Upstairs, what we'll have is, you can see, is that we got a spare car ready to go. All that we'd have to do is pull that down, put an engine in it, put a top wing on it, tires and wheels, and it's ready to rip. So it's pretty valuable to have that. Spare tires, spare tank, spare nose wings, another spare rear axle that's ready to go, spare headers. It's pretty important to have this extra space. Another cool thing about this trailer is our lounge. This is a good way for us to get away, especially when it's hot out. It's got an air conditioner, it's got a microwave, it's got a TV. You can come in here, relax, and try to prepare yourself a little bit before the racing event starts at night.
What amazes me though, Shane, I mean, look at the actual quality of all this stuff. It's not just cheap stuff thrown into a trailer, is it? It's really top notch.
No, it is, and Luch and Buzzy, they don't do anything that's not top notch, and it's one of the good things about driving for this team is that everything they do is 100% it's first class.
Well, I think this room's probably my favorite, so let's just grab a couple monsters and chill out here for a bit.
Sweet, man. Sounds good. Cheers.
Looks like a romantic evening for two just there. All the creature comforts and a couple of monsters and a couple of monster cans. Here we go, getting set for highlights of heat race action here at Premier Speedway Warrnambool. High banks, high excitement, high speed. Jack Perkins, this is a place you can be very fast at and you can come unstuck in spectacular fashion.
It's such a great track, awesome race. You see Danny Smith in the Bolo machine try and run the high line into turn 1 and 2.
And of course, Steve Cornt running there with him as well. Danny's been here some 26 occasions. Trouble there for Domain Ramsey. He turns the car. Keller gets involved and it took out Luke Dillon as well. There you see Luke getting caught up in that. So he's gone from setting fast time. That's our injectorsonline.com replay showing Dillon grinding to a halt there. It's also taken Keller out and it's damaged the chassis. Keller will not be back for the rest of the night. That's a devastating result. Danny Smith, solid in the Botolo car, as you said. Heat number 2. Highlights of heat race action from Premier Speedway Warrnambool for the NZ World Series Sprint Cars Speed Week Series, presented by Hog's Breath Cafe. Eddie Lumbar is usually pretty quick around here. So too is Carl Ludeman. And trouble here for Jake Tranter. The teenager spins to the infield in the 45. Couple of good lines to work with here. Johnny V, that's John Vogels, in that number 70 car from Simpson, puts a nice slider on Eddie Lumbar and drives away to take the win. Hell of a racer is that man, Johnny V.
He's got a lot of experience racing around Victoria's Johnny Vogels. Third heat now as we watch the start, and it's a great start by Mozzie House on the outside as he looks to continue to move into the lead.
Tim Van Ginneken on the inside, another one of the local Warrnambool racers. Mozzie really having his hands full, this young Warrnambool hard charger. Unfortunately going to the bottom, and Mozzie worked that out. The top part of the racetrack was the place to be. Isn't it good to see Mark House starting to get some good car speed, and the Tasmanian from a place called Forest doing a good job. Unfortunately there, the Camden Neon Signs entry in trouble just then, the 45 J&J owned by David Challens. Lots of speed here tonight. Stephen Bell, another guy that's very, very quick around this place. Heat number 4. First bracket of heats, we had 2 lots of 4 heats, and unfortunately, Matt Muir in the WA53 car. No small crashes at Warrnambool, Jack.
Not when you're travelling at such high speed. We also see the 26 of Nick Lacey got caught up in that as well. Bit of damage there for them to get out in the next heats.
Ricky Maiolo has certainly had a tough Speed Week campaign so far. You can see Tim Kading trying to run him down. These nice wide shots from the top give you an idea of the speed speed they reach around this place, and Ricky in some good touch.
Certainly no shortage of carnage for that first round of heats. Todd Waddell, he's been doing this whole Speed Week campaign, and you can see what happened to the left rear hub in that accident. That's what it's meant to look like, and unfortunately that's what it looks like. Now, they're not too sure if that's what caused the accident or not, but maybe we'll be able to find out a bit more when we chat to Todd. He's over here with the team right now, the Mio Motorsports guys. Todd, this first week of Speed Weeks, well, it's been a bit of a learning experience, huh?
It has. It's been interesting. We're getting better and better every time we roll out, and we just got up. I think I tagged the ball going down the back stretch, and when I went in down the front stretch, it just wouldn't turn and just ran in on the wall, and yeah, that's the end result. She's pretty bad, pretty sad looking now, but hopefully the boys can get it back and we can get into the C main or something.
Yeah, the young West Aussie certainly with his hands full at the moment. Not so Darren Molyneux. All those guys in the blue right there, they are currently locked into the top 8 shootout, but we have another round of heats to show just yet. So the guys in the green, they're kind of in the middle, and the guys in the red, like Shane Stewart, they're in struggle street right now.
And that's a direct result of not timing in so good. We want to get into that top 14 to make it straight through to the A main.
Here's Chad in the pits.
Well, how quickly things can go from good to bad, and, well, great example of that. Luke Dillon, talk us through exactly how that played out.
Just got in a bit of a pile-up. A fella spun out and just turned down the track, tried to get past, but didn't make it.
The damage?
Just tyre, basically. Other things, cosmetic things, and but yeah, just a tyre.
No problem getting this car up for the next round of heats?
No, we'll be right.
All right, good luck, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not so much the damage, it's the points he missed. And Caleb Griffith too. He had substantial damage in the Smith brothers car. Domain Ramsey too, and that involved Trent Pigden on his side there as well. When we eventually got underway, Danny Smith was showing his superb experience and his vast driving skills. Moving into heat number 6 right now, Steve Korn alongside Eddie Lumbar. Remember, Jack, we've often explained this, the format for World Series Sprint Cars, see the fastest guys from qualifying starting down the back. Trouble here for Quentin Tanner, and also the Bartlett Racing entry of Matt Eagle there in the 75.
So we see James McFadden had to come from the rear field in this heat based on his great qualifying effort, and he's right on the back of Steve Korn as they run first and second in this heat.
Track is beautiful right now. It's wide. You've got a ledge to lean on up top. You've got some moisture down the bottom and a little bit of sort of slick stuff through the middle, which allowed you to really get racy. Korn's starting to get more and more car speed. Of course, very soon he'll hand over the wheels to Brooke Tatnall.
Ricky Maiolo started the heat from second position, passed Mark House into turn 1 and went on to take the heat win.
Yeah, Mozzie's still showing some good car speed too, but Ricky Maiolo's been around a time or two. Well, here's a couple of Americans with their backs to the wall right now. Shane Stewart desperately trying to get further up the order on the outside of the monster car, and Tim Kading took him on with 1 lap to go in that cool chassis that's manufactured right here in Warrnambool. And Tim's starting to get better and better with that number 2 cricket car. Stewart switches back to the bottom, one of the races of the night right there between the 2 Americans.
Very cool to watch those 2 guys racing hard. It's a testament to such a fast, racy racetrack down here.
Kading got the nod, but it was only just. So after the 2 rounds of points right now of heats, you see McFadden leading narrowly from Johnson, Bell, Molyneux, Pesca, Hurst, Dillon, and Taylor Milling squeaks into the top 8. His first ever top 8 shootout is coming up very soon. Still on struggle street, Johnny Vogels and Danny Smith, due to poor qualifying, they're going to be struggling a bit. Kading a bit further back than he wants to be. Right now, though, he's in the A main.
Another round of heats and even more carnage out here in Warrnambool. And Caleb Griffith is man on the back end of a big hit. Caleb, talk us through that one.
Yeah, we've been having a little bit of difficulty with the car. It's just been real tight in and around the corner, and we changed some things after the first heat, thought we got it corrected, and went out, rolled around before the race, took a lap, and the thing felt really nice. And come in, I think that was like the 2nd or 3rd lap in the 3-4 end. The lap before it tracked around there pretty nice on the cushions, so I thought finally found something that likes. We'll go back out there, and for whatever reason it snugged up real hard and carried the left rear, and it just, everything loaded up on the right front and went for the fence, and wasn't any saving it. So
this is one of our faster tracks. Being out of Ohio, you're no stranger to fast tracks, right?
Yeah, I race weekly at like Fremont and Attica, and then we'll go to Eldora sometimes. So Attica's, a little bit bigger than this, but about the same bank, and then Eldora's about like a super speedway as far as sprint cars are concerned.
How have you found the week here, especially these last couple of meetings?
It's been fun. We haven't had much luck, so hopefully we'll go back to the shop, go back to the drawing board, and shake the monkey this evening.
Coming up after the break, Bryony and Chad head to Cool Chassis for an open red, and we get into the top 8 shootout. It's all coming down at Warrnambool.
When Cricky Motorsport won 3 World Series titles in a row using cool chassis, it wasn't just a milestone for the team, but also for chassis constructor John Cooley. The easygoing Kiwi is a modern-day racing success story. And just like Russell Crowe, we've adopted him as one of our own. After crossing the ditch and setting up shop just down the road from here, John has turned his passion for racing into a successful business operation.
John, first and foremost, man, tell us exactly how the Cool Chassis name came to be.
It was about 12 years ago. There was a few of us kicking around what we could call them, and basically I think it was from memory, it was Troy Shields that said, "Oh, why don't you call them Cool?" And then we sort of thought, well, yeah, that sounds all right. So we went with that, and it just stuck.
Tell us about the first few chassis that you tinkered on.
Johnny Vagels bought the first one, and I think it was Greg Raggett, I think his name was. He bought the second one. So that's how it all sort of evolved. But it took me, I reckon, 9 months to build the first 4, and I got to the point where I was really getting over it because I didn't have anything finished. But the jigging and the amount of information that we had to come up with as we were going along took forever.
How much refinement has gone into bringing these chassis to where they are today?
It's been huge, basically. We've sort of working with Kerry Madsen for a long time. After Kerry, it was Pete Capehorn and Brooke Tatnall. Then we've got to the point where we are now. We made some changes last year to James McFadden's car to test it, and we've gone with that in the new product for this year. So we call that our new 2013 car. Basically, the Cricky team's been definitely a major part of the development of the cars. You know, because of Brooke's racing ability, Pete's knowledge of race cars, and his professionalism in spannering them. So it's sort of like. It's pretty interesting this year with Brendan coming on board, and with Tim Kading, it's new, and it's sort of, yeah, it's good.
How do you feel when you get to see your cars win races?
There's no two ways to describe it. It's just a really good feeling because you can remember the processes you went through building the car, and to see it actually take out a feature, and you know, the teams, the amount of work that the team puts in it is a lot more than what I do. And then basically they've got the problems of making that work on the track.
How many chassis do you pump out and how many clients do you have?
We'd probably have about 70 clients, and we've pushed out about 51 cars, and this year we're at 44, I think. So we roughly would say 45 to 50 cars a year.
What is it that makes a good chassis?
My theory is the car must flex. Basically, a lot of other chassis builders work on the cars. They're stiffer than what mine are.
I know that you obviously have such a great reputation here in Australia. How's the US market coming along for you?
We want to do the US market, but with the dollar the way it is, we can't actually export because our dollar's too high and it's going to be too expensive to the Americans. I haven't backed off. I want to win Knoxville, so you can't win it if you're not there, I suppose. So we've got to work on that one, but you never know.
One last thing. Do you ever find that people expect to come to your workshop and see something bigger?
We've had people from all over the show, you know, and it's really good. Like, it gives you a bit of a lift, like when you're working in here and you're sort of tired and you don't really want to be here and you're feeling like you're out, and you'll get someone rolling and they're like, "Oh wow, I never thought I'd be here." But that's the bit that sort of, apart from the flies, that's really good, you know, that's the part of it that I enjoy.
Well, you've certainly got some cool stuff up around the workshop as well.
Yeah, no, we definitely had to put it up there so everyone can see it, but there'll be more.
Thanks for talking to us today, mate.
No worries.
Well, good qualifying certainly pays off. Taylor Milling has got the beanie at the top because it's very, very cold here. Nice, looking cool on that beanie, and heading off to the top 8 shootout, man.
Yeah, it was good. Had a good car set up with those 3 there. Do you want to get them in shot? Rob, Dave and Dad. Without them, it'd be pretty hard, so good car helps.
Now, you've had a tough week, to be honest, but tonight you're starting to pull it together. Is that the charm of Warrnambool?
Yeah, no, we did have a pretty bad start to Speed Week, but my goal was to make an A-main and to make a top 8 shootout so even better. Pretty happy with it.
You've got one hell of a teammate. What's it been like having James alongside you?
Can't ask for anything better, having him knowing everything and guiding me through racecraft and all that sort of stuff, it's priceless. So big thanks to him.
All right, well, you're going to be out there in the top 8 shootout together. Your first one, so how's that going to go down?
Yeah, it'd be interesting coming out at 8. So any way it goes, I'll be coming out at 8, I guess, in the A, which is better than nothing.
All right, well, Taylor Milling off to his first top 8 shootout, and his teammate James McFadden, number 1 in the points.
And Taylor, very much like his dad Scott, extremely shy around the camera, but it's really starting to improve, and tonight's top 8 will do a lot for his confidence because, as you know, being a race car driver, Jack Perkins, confidence is critical with your form.
Especially as a young bloke, confidence breeds confidence. When you get into your first shootout, you learn a lot about it, you learn how to get the most out of it. He hasn't been in the car now since the heats. He needs to learn the track and master that, and I'm very impressed with Daniel Pesca as well. 2 young blokes into the shootout, and once you keep making the shootouts, you keep gaining experience, and it's going to be great to watch these guys through their careers.
Here's Taylor Milling and the Totally Workwear Cool. Wasn't it cool to go out to the Cool shop, actually, the world headquarters of Cool, with John Cooley, as we see Taylor shaken down at 12.112. Everything about this kid is fast. Daniel Pesca on the hammer in that number 27 J&J. He's just improved so much, even in the 4 nights we've had so far of World Series at 12.053. He's not in yet. This will decide it right now.
He's our championship leader from the first 2 rounds, Luke Dillon in the 81. He would love this. He's got a lot more experience now as the weeks progress, and he's held that 81 wide open for an 11.59 to be second quickest of the stage.
Kyle Hurst, Californian Kyle Hurst in the Ruse Brothers, number 99 Maxim. Can he go forward? We know at the moment Dillon and Pesca are in. If this guy can slide inside there with an 11.456, he does. Nice job. So Hurst and Dillon will advance. Taylor Milling will start from position 8, as he predicted he would, and Daniel Pesca will start alongside him on that 4th row. We now go to the silver shootout for the Vortex Wings top 8 shootout, and this basically now decides who's going to start on the 3rd row and who can go forward now from a chance to get into the front row situation for our A main.
Luke Dillon will be looking for a strong showing here. He wants a good starting spot for the A main, see if he can get back into the lead of this championship. There's the 77 of Darren Molyneux. He's winding the throttle up just to get a bit of heat into the tyres and get psyched up for this silver shootout.
Ron Cricky used to call it cleaning the barrel when you stand on the gas just before a hot lap like that. Stephen Bell on the speedway. Hails from very near this racetrack, about 3 kilometres away from Allensford. 11.888 in the Victory Lane race gear entry. Matt Eastham owned car. Dillon on the hammer right now. Whoever are the slowest 2 in this group of 4 will start on the 3rd row of tonight's A main. The fastest 2 will then go forward and battle for pole. Molly smoking around this racetrack, not the way he wants to. Breathing a bit of oil in that number 77 Palm Motorsports entry, the GF1. A little bit of a flash fire as the oil ignites off the headers, but everything's okay for him. 11.746 right now, he's fastest.
Yeah, the smoke didn't look to be causing him any trouble around the track in terms of lap speed. We look at the 99 machine, the American Kyle Hurst now. What's he got? 11.755. That puts him second fastest, just behind Molly.
So Stephen Bell and Luke Dillon will start on the 3rd row of tonight's A main. And that advances Kyle Hurst through, along with Darren Molyneux. Now to meet James McFadden and Jason Johnson. Very chilly conditions here. As you know, cool conditions are good for horsepower, but not so much outright speed unless you can put it all on the racetrack. And right now the track is retaining a lot of the moisture because of these cool conditions. It's nice and wide right now. And metrically, it's not any wider than when we started the night, but it does have 2 pronounced grooves. 11.575 for Hurst. There's a good camera angle here, Jack, as they crank him in.
This is awesome stuff. These guys are wide open on the throttle. They are looking for the best couple of laps they can put together here to see if they can get through to the front row for the A main, and they are running that close to the wall. They're nearly touching it.
Jason Johnson looking for pole here. Anybody who's the quickest here will start on pole position and get lane choice, inside or outside. Johnson right up on the cushion, smacks the wall too. How hard was he pushing just then? And James McFadden, a little bit at sea, just coming down into turn 1 there, a bit more sideways than we're used to seeing. Johnson, at the moment, is not fastest. That won't change. Can McFadden get that spot though? Yes, he can. McFadden and Hurst will start on the front row for tonight's A-Main. Jason Johnson and Darren Molyneux will share the second row. And Johnson, how hard was he pushing? Even tagged the wall there. A little bit of light rain just falling here at the moment. You can just see that on the camera. McFadden is none phased. McFadden and Hurst will be on the front row. Johnson and Molyneux, Bell and Dillon, Pesca and Milling. That's your first 4 rows already seated. We have 6 already going in on the back of that to our A. Now just remains the B main to get those last 6 spots to set our field for tonight's 35-lap Speed Week finale. So Darren Molyneux doing a sterling job here in the field. One of the local heroes standing up tall.
One of my favourite things about touring around is getting to meet some of the faster local drivers. Darren Molyneux doing very well off the second row tonight.
Yeah, we've had a good night. We timed well with the second place and got in a little bit of trouble in our heat race. We had to put a new rear end in it and only just made it out for the shootout, but we managed to move forward 2 spots and we're starting out of 4, so we're very happy.
Some massive players starting off around you. I mean, a lot of Americans and some of Australia's best.
Yeah, well, the World Series is always, the toughest competition going around, and yeah, we're happy to be starting up the front. It's a long race. I think it's 35 laps, so anything can happen, and we'll just try and keep it straight, keep it clean, and make it to the finish.
Californian Kyle Hurst has been quick all speed week, but has just lacked a bit in the luck stakes. Maybe tonight is the time to turn that around.
Yeah, Wade, well, the Americans have always loved Warrnambool, and this guy will be off the front row tonight, Kyle Hurst. Could tonight maybe get a bit more luck, huh?
I hope so. That's what we've been joking, that this 2013 coming into the new year is going to change our luck. So these Rouge brothers and Kevin here, we've been having a great time this speed week. So hopefully tonight we can get some of it back and get a win or run up front one of these deals. We've been fast every night, just a little bad luck on our side. So we'll see what happens tonight. What is it about this track, Premier Speedway, that just seems to attract the Americans, and why are they so fast here? It's a banked fast track. You got to get up on the boards to be fast around here. Obviously, you just saw us do that in the time trial deal. So I don't know. I love it. You got a fence all around it. It's slicked up too right now, so I think we're going to have a pretty good racetrack for this 30-lapper if the rain stays away. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully these boys get this car tuned in and we'll be ready for this 35-lapper.
Coming up after the break, it's time for the last chance qualifier and our championship speed week finale over 35 laps. Stick around. Time now for your last chance qualifier. If you don't finish in the top 6 right now when the checkered flags fall, you're going to watch the feature race like everybody else in this joint up on the hill. Johnny Vogels and Danny Smith, Ash Scott and Jack Lee, Matt Eagle and Pickles Cunningham, Ricky Maiolo, Steve Court, David Murcott in the B main. And look all the way down the back, Sean Bradford and Chris Lacey. Bradford's had an absolute shocking night tonight. Hasn't had the best of situations with his motor. As a result, he starts all the way down the back of the bus. The bottle load 55 of Danny Smith, a Luke Nash entry alongside Johnny V. I do love this camera angle down low. Believe it or not, Jack, there are people who camp in tents in turn 1 down there and love their racing in their tents.
It's such a great track, Warrnambool. It's fast and the racing is always entertaining as we watch Johnny Vogels and Danny Smith too wide around the corners there. This is for the lead of the B main.
And look at him steaming the right rear. In these chilly conditions, you can now see the tyres starting to heat up. Murcott just did it then as well as he tries to soldier forward. Oh, that's not steam, that's smoke and plenty of it. The main line, number 83, man, it is billowing out there as he charges with Matt Eagle. What a good battle. That's what I'm talking about, the track being nice and wide and 2 distinct grooves right here, Jack.
Awesome to have Danny Smith here. He's been here for over 25 years racing the Classic at Warrnambool. A lot of experience both in America and here. Great to watch him running up the front.
A lot of guys are starting to breathe oil here in these cooler conditions. Look at that, both Eagle and Jack Lee. Man, more smoke than a Rastafarian Christmas party out there at the moment.
Not ideal for those competitors. If they can't make it through to the final transfer tonight, they'll be thinking about the Classic coming up in a few weeks' time.
They go by former bodybuilding champion Chris Lacey, Brett Lacey's brother, and of course that makes him Nick's uncle. So we see Jack Lee on the bottle with the Rokewood Rodeo, number 66, and Murcott starting to come right on now. Murky has a lot of experience around this place. And let's face it, you have to be a certain breed of cat to sling one of these around this place at high speed. Murky very much up to the job.
As we watch him running around the top of the racetrack, he's definitely had a shocking night tonight. We expect a lot more from him, but I'm sure he'll rectify and hopefully get through into the A main later on this evening.
Wow, Danny Smith right up on the wall there, and Vogel's trying to come back if they go by youngster Jamie Hennessy in the number 21. That's Steve Korn just up ahead of him as well. Very chilly conditions here at Premier Speedway Warrnambool for the NZ World Series Sprint Cars presented by Hog's Breath Cafe. And Danny in that bright green 55. There is Hennessy. He's got that left front brake disc glowing red hot. There's only one lap to go. Vintage Danny Smith to get the transfer here, Jack.
He's looking good. He's only got 2 more corners to get through here. Turn 3 and 4 in the beautifully prepared number 55 Bolo machine. And Danny Smith will take the checkered flag. He's through to the A main later on this evening.
Well done to Johnny Vogels getting home with him as well. Ricky Mayolo, Matt Eagle, David Murcott and Ash Scott. They are the transferees for your A main.
Well, down in the pits after the B main, it's a tale of 2 transfers. Well, kind of. We've got Danny Smith here first up from the US of A, taking the Bottle car through to the A main.
Yeah, started on the front and everything went pretty good. Our left rear tire was going flat there at the end, and luckily we held on and got a transfer spot and got a long way to go now.
Wow, I thought that left rear was going a bit flat, Jack, just the way he was rolling down on the main straightaway. So a lucky break for Danny Smith as we push away for tonight's NZ World Series Sprint Cars Speed Week finale, brought to you by Hog's Breath Cafe. That man on screen, James McFadden, now has the series lead. I fancy he won't want to give it up, just like you wouldn't want to give up a nice hot prime rib at Hoggies.
No, that's right. This is going to be great. Look, a great feature of the World Series Sprint Cars. The 4-wide salute before the feature race. This is going to be an absolute cracking race. We've got a lot of good competitors out there, and the racetrack is really racy. It's got a couple of different lines, and it should provide some entertaining racing for the fans.
So James McFadden will start on the front row. He's elected to go to the inside. Alongside him will be Kyle Hurst. Good result for the American if he can just finish it off now. Johnson on that second row with Darren Molyneux, Stephen Bell and Luke Dillon on the third row.
A couple of young blokes here. Daniel Pesca and Taylor Milling. His best start in the World Series, starting from 8th. Stephen Lyons in 9. And Shane Stewart ran out the top 10.
Yeah, you go back to Kading, Pigton, Anderson. You've also got Matthew Reid a lot further back than he would like to be. One of the Warrnambool specialists is Matthew Reid, that's for sure. So some boys have got plenty of peddling to do here at Warrnambool. Set for a start. J-Mac alongside Kyle Hurst, the Californian, in the 99 Ruse Brothers entry. And away we go. Very cool conditions here tonight. Dillon a little wide on that one. Oh, contact with Johnson. Oh, it's a train wreck. Getting into turn 1, Johnson flipped several times. So did Stephen Bell. Molyneux caught up in that. Now watch here. Molly goes to turn it in. Both guys going for the same piece of clay. Bell just hammers in there. Dillon is on the anchors as well. Oh my.
That's a great replay there, brought to you by InjectorsOnline.com. We saw 2 cars just racing real hard for position there. Jason Johnson on the inside. His right rear wheel tripped up over Molly's, and unfortunately it sent the car into a wild rollover, and there's 4 cars that'll be out of the race.
Yes, and a couple of championship contenders. Luke Dillon, is he going to be able to restart? Bell hit the wall hard and rolled. Graphic, that's for sure, that InjectorsOnline.com replay. And Luke Dillon trying to get the car out of gear to check if everything's okay. Jason Johnson won't be restarting. He's on the infield with Chad.
Well, you hate to see it. That was one of the nastiest stacks we've had all week. Jason Johnson, talk us through that one, man.
Starting on the bottom of the racetrack, and the other guy, obviously he wanted to run the bottom too, and he didn't give me any room.
Bit of a cut on the finger. What's the latest down here?
I don't know. I just banged it or something there inside the race car. Just it's a shame, you know. The HM guys, they worked their tails off all week long, and definitely not the way we want to start off a new year.
That was a big tumble. What is it like inside the car at that minute? What are you doing?
You just hang on, you know. Grit your teeth and kind of tense up a little bit and hang on.
The struggle for Luke Dillon continues here. That's Dylan Jenkin and Brad Keller taking him a new top wing.
Luke Dillon's getting out of his car, but it looks like they're going to try and fix this one. Luke will grab 5 seconds of your time. I know you're thrashing to get this thing ready.
I got to help her.
Too busy to grab a quick one out of Luke. It looked like he was the last one involved with that one when Jason and Molyneux got together. So a bit of damage towards the front end of this one. They're going to change out this front wing. And hopefully, Luke Dillon's Speedweek campaign is still alive.
Yeah, it's going to be touch and go, Chad, that's for sure. We'll take a break, and when we come back, the resumption of Warrnambool World Series Sprint Cars. So it's time now for the restart. Welcome back to NZ World Series Sprint Cars presented by Hog's Breath Cafe. A complete restart. Would you believe we've lost several of our front-running cars in that battle? Stephen Bell and Jason Johnson certainly upside down in a big way. As we get set to go racing, what a start for Hurst. That played into his hands, the restart. He's now leading. McFadden back to second.
Yeah, that's a great start from Kyle Hurst. One thing we've noticed all season with James McFadden is his restarts and starts of the races are brilliant. So Kyle Hurst has been 2 from 2 tonight. As we see, McFadden's teammate, Taylor Milling, just getting swamped by a few cars here in the early laps.
Just saw then West Aussie Trent Pigden starting to have a good run as well. Trent is used to circuits more like this. The Perth Motorplex back in WA is a big, wide-open, banked, high-speed racetrack, and Trent a bit more comfortable with that. He also ran here prior to Christmas, as we see Matt Eagle going by Matt Reed, and there is Luke. So he got the car repaired, and now he's got a charge from the back.
That's a great effort by Luke and his team to get that car fixed. They are desperate for championship points, running second in that tally. They need to try and get as many points as they can tonight to catch that gap to James McFadden.
You saw how light the top wing really is as well when the two guys were able to carry. You can actually carry it with one person, but they're a fairly cumbersome thing. You go parasailing like you would in Bali if the wind suddenly picks up. So we see J-Mac about to put a lap down on Ash Scott in the Scots of Mount Gambier, number 55 cars. He squeezes up against the wall. Pesca. How strong Daniel Pesca tonight?
This is very impressive from Pesca. He's doing a great job, and he's got Steve Lyons behind him. That would be very difficult for a young bloke. You've got a lot of experience there, and Lyons is really good around this racetrack.
Hurst in the yellow. Number 99, they flash by Al Walcam. You can just see Johnny Vogel's in there. The number 70 mainline Dynalog Dynamometers car. Danny Smith in behind him. Very lucky to finish the B main with that flat left rear jack.
He was, and it looks like that tyre's all right, so they got that fixed between the B and the A. He'll be looking to do a great job and get that Bottle machine towards the front.
Track is nice and racy right now. You have to be careful in lap traffic. I think that's where this race is going to be won or lost. Californian Kyle Hurst up to put a lap on Mayolo now in that number 99 car. This team based out of Broken Hill in New South Wales, charging hard. J-Mac is coming, and so is Pesca. We're working lap 8.
This is going to be a great race to watch as we see Taylor Milling now and Murcott. He came from the B main doing a great job working his way through the field.
Murky always a hard charger. Taylor Milling, as you said, in that Vortex Wings top 8 shootout. A career best result for him. He timed in inside the top 6 as well. A stout result for the young Kalgoorlie man. Someone slowing, just coming off turn 4 there and pulling to the infield. This is getting very close now. Mayolo, Reed and Scott having their own battle. Oh, McFadden, the opportunist, straight through on Hurst.
Yeah, Hurst was stuck behind Ricky Mayolo for a couple laps there. He didn't get the pass done. It enabled McFadden to get back up behind him, and he's made advantage of the situation. It looks like the bottom of the racetrack's really working well. We saw in the heats that up top and down bottom were both working, but so far it looks like the bottom is the one that's working.
Definitely on the turn 1 and 2 side of things, but up in 3 and 4 where we are now, most guys are up running the cushion, up on the highest side of the racetrack. Matthew Reed in that Tritec Lubricants, number 92. He's about to go a lap down along with Johnny Vogels. Good line for McFadden. He goes to the bottom again, gets the slide job on the bottom and stays down there. We're basically halfway at this point in this 35-lap feature race.
It's a great race as we see now. Kyle Hurst with Johnny Vogels in between him and the race leader. He'll be trying to get past Vogels as quick as he can, get back into a rhythm and start hunting down McFadden.
Pesca got held up too. He didn't get through and he was trying to chase this battle for the lead. He's trying to get by on Mayolo. He's got to be careful because Lyons, well, Stephen Lyons will eat him alive. That's all there is to it. He's a voracious competitor. He's Stephen Lyons.
Great to see Gawler Farm Machinery on the side of Pesca's machine. He's a good young talent. As we're at lap 20 now, he's just got past Mayolo. Now he can head down, concentrate on the task at hand.
Shane Stewart's starting to improve his night somewhat as well in that Monster Energy Milwaukee Power Tools number 7 as he starts to charge a bit harder. And someone who's always lively around here, Grant Anderson. He is also doing a nice job to get up into the top 10 in that 37 Wagga Mobile Cranes car.
We see Hurst weaving his way in and out of traffic there. He's back on. Oh, Danny Smith. He's caught the wall on the outside there, and he's put the Bottle machine on its side, and a lot of damage there. Top wing and the front wing.
Something broke in that car, Jack. It just did not turn. Look at that, straight into the wall. The injectorsonline.com replay sees Danny's car just drift to the right. It never even looked like continuing down the back straight. Wouldn't surprise me if he's a bit sore. That was a power hit.
Well, drivers of this quality don't just crash out of turn 2 for no reason. Something clearly broke.
Yeah, something broke, and she was wide open and just turned right, and I was just hanging on for dear life. Get too old to be doing that stuff, but thanks to Luke Nash from the Bottle O and all the crew for getting us going. That's 2 hard hits in 2 nights, and just don't give up. We'll get regrouped and come back.
Cheers, Danny.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Danny is aching, and he certainly will ache tomorrow as well. Component failure is something that every driver dreads, Jack. When you're hammering around this place at high speed, something like that breaks. There are no easy rides.
They're absolutely committed, especially on high-speed racetracks, and that's a shame for Danny Smith and his team. But the field's compressed now at the restart, and the race is wide open again.
Kading is now moving up track a little bit here as well. We can see a busy little bunch there. Luke Dillon coming from the back, trying to run the high side, trying to squeeze through. Kading and Shane Stewart, they're starting to figure in this one pretty nicely now. Then you got Murcott, he's charging. You got Luke Dillon trying to get back through, and Taylor Milling still doing an excellent job in that totally workwear number 25.
Back to the lead group now. They've checked out from the rest of the field. We've got James McFadden in the lead, Kyle Hurst in second, and Daniel Pesca doing a great job in third.
Yeah, Pesca looking at a podium finish for him in World Series Sprint Cars. That is something very, very impressive if he can hold on. J-Mac certainly has control of this race. I'm a bit surprised that Lyons hasn't been able to get up and really have a crack in the top 3. Just shows you everyone's about the same speed tonight. The track is very fast. Maybe not as many passing opportunities as we thought. Oh, Murcott through on Grant Anderson.
That was a great forceful move. He's done a great job, as we touched on. He came through from the B main after a poor qualifying early on. Oh, and smoke from the Kading machine. Oh, out of fire, so there's some mechanical dramas with that car. He's out of the race.
Oh man, he was looking at a top 4 or top 5 situation there. That is just brutal after he ran so strongly at the previous round at Avalon. And we're getting closer to the checker, so that just breaks your heart. Let's hope it's not a critical engine problem. Hopefully. Oh, Lines. Flat left rear on the Halls haulage, number 3 KPC. He just didn't really have the sting in his tail that we're used to for him. He's won the Warrnambool Classic here, and tonight he really didn't have the car speed. Matt Eagle coming over to assess what's happened to that tyre just then.
A shame for Lyons. He was looking for a reasonable finish, not where we would have expected him to be in the top 1 or 2, but nonetheless, he's out now. James McFadden, another great restart there. He's got a couple of car lengths now, and Kyle Hurst into the first turn.
I would love to see Pesca get a podium, and Kyle Hurst too, just for the Roos brothers. They put together a good car for him. He just hasn't had the fortune. Look at Murcott putting the question to Shane Stewart. Stewart too starting to get some good car speed in that Monster 7 tonight.
The Monty Motorsport team struggled in the first few nights of Speed Week and indeed the first few rounds of the year. They've definitely improved, they've changed chassis, and they're on the rise. So good job so far in the top 4.
Well, they struggled earlier tonight. When you think about it, he was outside the immediate A-main situation in the early part of the evening. Got himself back in now. 1 lap to go. McFadden reigning supreme around Premier Speedway, and will wrap up the Speed Week series as well. Kyle Hurst, strong job for him in second. Well done to Pesca. Fireworks on track, fireworks above the racetrack. And that guy, what a talent he is. McFadden the winner from Hurst and Pesca. Stewart, Murcott, Anderson, Dillon. Luke got back to 7th, Jack.
A great effort there to be involved in that first lap crash on the first start. The team did a great job to get him back out, but James McFadden in career best form, I think. It's great to watch him wrap up Speed Week.
Trent Pigden, a top 10 finish for the West Aussie as well. Good job. Let's go down to the infield with a very happy James McFadden.
Warrnambool's a case of history repeating for this kid. 23 years old, he's already won twice at Warrnambool and a second Speed Week. Congratulations, man. Chuck on the NZ hat. Our winner tonight, James McFadden.
Thanks, mate. The boys on the 25 team gave me an awesome car all night. We've been on the pace all week, and to get it done again, to back Speed Week up is pretty cool.
Now, let's go back to Adelaide. Night 1, popped rear tyre, a DNF. Did you think right now you'd be winning Speed Week?
You know, it's a tough competition. Speed Week's one of those deals where you've got to have a lot of luck and you've got to have bad luck as well. But we managed to have the car speed the whole week, and finished on the podium every race after that. So it's been a good week for us.
Yeah, to say the very least, he's picked up some substantial prize money, that's for sure. Californian Kyle Hurst has done a fantastic job to get himself a podium, and the Roos boys will be happy with this result.
Well, Kyle Hurst, it's good to see you finally with a smile on your face, but it could have been just that one bit better, couldn't it?
Yeah, I'm always trying to be smiling no matter how the week is going or whatever. We've been fast. Congratulations to James. I wasn't aggressive enough in lap traffic. I got the car too free, but you know what? We're here. They know we're here, so I wish we could have pulled it off. Congratulations to him. We still got a couple more races. I'll be there. We'll be tough. I got to thank this Ruse family for putting me out here and getting me over here. Looking forward to running Cunningham stuff. Without them all, it wouldn't be possible, so we're just trying to have fun, doing good at it, I guess.
What a result for youngster Daniel Pesca, who records a World Series Sprint Cars podium at a tough place like Warrnambool. He's done exceptionally well and should be very proud of himself.
This is a fantastic story. This kid turned 21 years old halfway through Speed Week, and now he gets his podium in the World Series. Well done, man.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I'm pretty happy, and all the boys are doing a very good job, and Dad and all that staying home and looking after the bakery to keep us going.
You said repeatedly that once you get to Warrnambool, you'll be fast, and you've delivered.
And this is one of my favourite tracks, and the last 5 times we've been here, we finished on the podium, 4 times, and we would have finished all 5 on the podium if it wasn't for a mechanical failure, and it just adds to a good run here.
Yes, he's very good around this place, no doubt about it. Does a fair bit of racing here, considering he's based in South Australia. James McFadden, well, he leads the points from Luke Dillon. Lyons is looking lively in third now. Johnson, Stewart, Pesca, Hurst, Kading, Farr and Brad Keller rounding out your top 10. Spare a thought for these teams now, Jack. They now have to head basically 1,800 kilometres up the road to Archerfield Speedway for the next round. There's no rest for the wicked.
That's World Series Sprint Cars. Looking forward to seeing them at Archerfield next week.
Yeah, we'll join you from Archerfield for the Australian Open. Please be careful on the roads. We'll see you next time of the World Series Sprint Cars.